Writing your name, an act we do daily without thinking. But for 60-year-old Eyvanise Joseph, writing her name is something she learned to do only this year.
My kids don't want to stay in school, and here I am with gray hair, and I've just learned to write my name.
Eyvanise is part of a cooperative run by the Foundation for International Development Assistance, partners with Crossroads Relief and Development. The cooperatives bring local farmers together to invest in profit from the benefits of co-ownership, a business model that is lifting close to 3,000 Haitians out of years of poverty.
The cooperative model is often referred to as the third way or the third choice. It exists in environments where there may be a common adversity and there isn't national structure or a political will to address that particular adversity. We applied it because it really empowers the rural poor to become, as my father would say, masters of their own destiny.
But the success of a cooperative depends on more than agricultural training and smart investment. Haitian literacy rates are some of the worst in the world. In rural areas, close to 80% of the population is illiterate.
This is illiteracy at the point where they can only sign an X for their name. I mean, you cannot have a business model if people cannot even identify numbers, if they cannot even sign a document. It's an impossibility.
Seeing the need, the organization introduced a literacy training program for cooperative members, teaching people in their native Creole to read and write for the first time.
I tell you, it's amazing. There aren't enough days or nights for me to describe what school has done for me. I used to be afraid to speak to others. I used to be ashamed, but I'm not afraid any longer.
It's not surprising that more than 50% of program's participants are women. Literacy is especially important for women who have seen violence and abuse rise over the last few years.
I think with literacy that they get, they can also help themselves to combat the violence that women are suffering. That's why when a woman doesn't know how to read when she's a victim, she can't take her case to court.
Wonders and miracles are like people who don't know how to read and write and can now read and write, and some can manage their land. They used to plant and get maybe 2 cans of beans as a harvest, and now they can get 3 or 4.
Today is a joyful day for the more than 1,300 adults who have graduated from the literacy program. For them, the ability to read and write is the key to future success and self-determination.
Newly literate Haitians often describe their newfound literacy as having been once blind and now they have light. They describe it as their illiteracy was like being an animal with a noose tied around their neck. You know, what that does to feel your full humanness, I think, again, is almost indescribable. You view your life in a very different way. You are able to articulate your values and who you are. You are empowered with a sense of choice, where you believe you do have a choice.
Literacy is at the root of this sense of empowerment, and it's revolutionary to the country of Haiti, which has long depended on handouts from aid organizations.
We can never, ever underestimate the power of self-esteem. That is everything, how we see ourselves. How can we be a good parent? How can we be a good wife or a good husband? How can we be a good neighbor if our self is so diminished that we feel we are nothing? When you give a human being that choice to be able to know their name, to be able to know who they are, to be able to understand that they have value, you have not just transformed a human being, you have transformed a family, you've transformed a community, and you've transformed a country. Imagine writing your name for the first time and seeing what your name looks like at the age of 60. Imagine what that does to you. And imagine what it might do to your children and grandchildren to see that.
Eyvanise is a mother and grandmother. She can now help them with her homework, as well as build the business she and her husband are running through the cooperative. This work of hope, dignity, and progress wouldn't be possible without generous donations from people like you. Would you consider being part of this transformational work so that we can help more people like Eyvanise? Call 1-888-288-0003 or visit crossroads.ca to give online.